Hello, this is Eric Thomas, and welcome to a video tutorial today on how to create your day in the life video slideshow for JMC 410. I'm going to show you how to make this in Adobe Premiere Rush because it is the easiest solution for a pretty easy task here. So I've opened up Adobe Premiere Rush and gathered all of my files, so I am ready to quickly put this assignment together. I'm going to go ahead and click on Create New Project, and the first thing it's going to ask for are the assets that I am going to use. I have them showing here. They're sitting right here on my desktop inside of a folder called Day in the Life Images, and you can also see that the audio file is in there. I can just go ahead and snag them all. I can go ahead and grab them by making a box around them or just selecting all. And once I've got them all selected, it's just as easy as hitting this create button down here. It's going to go ahead and pull all of those images and audio onto my timeline, and it's going to sort them in the order that it thinks I want them. I can go ahead and move those items and change their order relative to one another. So I want to go ahead and do that before I go any further. Let's say I want these images to move to those particular places. That was pretty easy. Second thing I need to do is make all of these photos fit. So I'm going to go ahead and click on each individual photo and hit this cropping button over here and click on fit. That's easily done by just clicking on each photo, clicking on fit, and you can see that Premiere Rush goes ahead and fits the photo directly into the screen so that we don't have any cropping that we don't want to have on here. So I'm almost done with that. That's all 10 of those ready. The next thing I need to do is I need to make them all 5 seconds long. I'm going to click on an individual image here. I'm going to go over here to the thing that looks like a speedometer that talks about speed, and it says what clip duration do you want it to be. I'm going to change these all to 0.5, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here so that you don't have to watch me do all of this in real time. Now that I've made those photos the span of time that I want them to be, I'm going to go ahead and make the timeline a little bit more compact so I can see all of those photos at one time. The next thing that we need to do is we need to add the titles onto here. This is as simple as hitting this graphics button up at the top right hand corner and saying that you want to add a graphic. It's going to go ahead and pull up all different kinds of graphics that you might want. I want some sort of a title, and you can see that there are many titles to choose from. And I'm not going to tell you that you need to do one title or another, but I'm going to ask that you have two basic elements on this title slide. So you probably want to have something that has kind of this two-tiered look to it. You can see that there's a main title and then a subtitle. So we're going to call the first one Day in the Life, and then the second thing that you're going to do here is you're going to label the name of the person and just something about them. So it might be something like KU Senior Eric Thomas, and that should refer to the person that you are photographing, right? We want to go ahead and add another one of these slides at the end of our timeline here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that to the very back. And if I go ahead and mouse over that, it will let me make an adjustment to the name of that. And for this one here, I'm going to go ahead and say who it is by. And so this one is by Ansel Adams, and he is a KU student in strategic communications. Once we do that, we've got all of the visual stuff that we need on this timeline. We have a single title slide at the beginning here. We have a single credit slide at the end. We have 10 photos in the middle, each of them 5 seconds long, so that adds up to exactly 1 minute. Next thing we need to do is we just need to adjust this interview audio. What we want to do is we want to make sure that it ends right before that title, the credit slide comes up at the end here, so I'm just dragging it so that it's even with that. You can see it's going to overlap a little bit with our title slide at the beginning, and that's just fine. We can have the person speaking while we're looking at the title slide at the start. Final thing that I need to do before I export this is I just need to add some music to it. So this is an option for you. If you'd like to, you can just come up to the top and hit what do you want to add. You can say I want to add some audio here. I'm going to say that I want something that is upbeat. And when I do that, it says that there is a little track here. It's just 1 minute and 10 seconds long. It's called Dubstep Anthill. You can choose whatever audio you want to. You could go ahead and add this one if you want to. Dragging it onto the timeline doesn't do anything. It's this little blue button down at the bottom right. That is a click to go ahead and add. I'm going to decide that I want this to start about halfway through my initial title slide at the beginning here. And I also want this to end at the same moment. I want it to end right there when the credit slide comes up. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that there. It would be a little bit awkward if that audio just abruptly ended right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a quick transition to the end of it in Adobe Premiere Rush. These are called effects. And so I can go ahead and add a dissolve effect onto my timeline. If I go ahead and add that in there, you see that small element down there is that gray bar, and that gray bar is saying that it's going to dissolve for that long. If I say that I'd like it to dissolve for longer, for maybe a couple of seconds, you can see that that gray bar gets longer, so that it's going to go ahead and change and decrease its volume little by little there. Once I've done that, I've got all the pieces. I clearly am going to want to give this a listen and make sure that everything is syncing up correctly. I'm not going to put you through watching and listening to it with me. So now, once we're ready and we've double checked our file and we're sure that everything is on there, we're ready to go ahead and share that file. We go up to the top here to File, down to Share. Once we do that, you can see that we've got some options here. Over on the left-hand side, you've got all kinds of export settings. Just for simplicity's sake here, we're going to go use the YouTube setting here. Underneath Advanced Settings, we're going to go ahead and pull this one down to just the simple YouTube 1080 p full HD setting. We're not going to mess with any of these other settings down here. That should be just fine. It's going to ask you if you want to sign in directly to YouTube and publish it. We're going to go ahead and post it somewhere else so that you don't need to worry about that at all. Notice where it's going to save to. For me, it's going to save to my Documents folder. You can click on this and change it if you'd like it to go somewhere else. You notice that whatever your project is named at this point, mine is named Sequence 01. It's going to go ahead and save it as that file name. Of course, you can change that once you go ahead and export. This is a small file that I'm exporting here. You can see it's exporting one copy to locally, and then it's going to go ahead and export another one as a YouTube file as well. So we're going to have both of those sitting there waiting for us when we're all done. When it says that they're done, you can go ahead and view in Finder. And when you click View in Finder, you're going to see both of them saved up here. One of them will be saved with a _1, another one will be saved with just underscore, and those are the two different versions that we saved. One of them was a YouTube version and one was the local version. We just want to use that YouTube version and upload it. You can see that this right here is saved as 1080p, and so that is probably going to be the one that we want to upload to Google Photos when we're all done. That's it. That's all there is to it. We've got a finished video file here. There's a link to that video file so that you can see what it looked like when it was fully exported, and you should be ready to make your day in the life video slideshow.